Welcome to Special Needs Corner.
All right, today we're jumping into the world of quadratic equations. We're going to learn how to take them from what's called standard form, that's f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and transform them into the super useful vertex form. Now, why do we even want to do this? Well, check it out. Vertex form, which is f of x equals a times the quantity x minus h all squared plus k, literally gives you the coordinates of the parabola's vertex, its turning point. That's the point h, k. It's like having a treasure map where x marks the spot.
So here's our game plan. We're going to explore two really solid methods to get this done. First, we'll dive into a process called completing the square. Then, we'll switch gears and look at the vertex formula. And to wrap it all up, we'll talk about how to decide which method is the right one for any given problem.
Okay, let's get right into it with our first method, completing the square. This is a classic algebraic technique that lets us actually reshape the equation into the form we want. We're going to use this example to see how it works. F of x equals x squared plus 8x minus 10. Now, the first thing you should notice here is that our a value, the number in front of the x squared, is just 1. That's a huge clue that this is a perfect situation for completing the square. Let's walk through this together. First step, we're going to group our x terms together in parentheses, and we'll just leave that constant, the minus 10, off to the side for a minute. Okay, now for the magic step. Our goal is to make what's inside the parentheses a perfect square trinomial, which is just a fancy way of saying something that factors really nicely. To do that, we take our b value, which is 8, we divide it by 2 to get 4, and then we square that result to get 16. Now, to keep our equation balanced, we can't just add 16 out of nowhere. So we add the 16 inside the parentheses, but we also have to subtract it outside. See how that works? Now, that expression inside, x squared plus 8x plus 16, factors perfectly into the quantity x plus 4 all squared. The only thing left to do is clean up the numbers on the outside. Minus 10 minus 16 gives us minus 26. And just like that, we've done it. Our equation is now in vertex form. We can literally just read the vertex right off the page. Now, just be careful. Remember, the general form is x minus h. Since we have x plus 4, that means our h value is actually negative 4. The k value is easy, it's just negative 26. So our vertex is at the point negative 4, negative 26.
Awesome, that's one method down. But what if there was a more direct route? Well, there is. Let's talk about the vertex formula. Instead of rearranging the whole equation, this method lets us calculate the vertex directly.
For this one, let's use a slightly trickier example. F of x equals 3x squared minus 4x plus 1. And the big difference here, as you can see, is that our a value is 3, not 1. First things first, let's just identify our coefficients so we don't get mixed up. Looking at the equation, it's clear that a is 3, b is negative 4, and c is 1. All right, now we just plug those values into our formulas. To find h, which is the x-coordinate of the vertex, we use the formula negative b divided by 2a. So let's plug in our numbers. That's the negative of negative 4, all divided by 2 times 3. Well, a negative 4 is a positive 4, and 2 times 3 is 6. So we have 4 over 6, which simplifies down to 2 over 3. Next up is k, the y-coordinate. Now, this formula looks a little more intense, but it's the same idea. It's the quantity 4ac minus b squared, all of that divided by 4a. Let's substitute everything in. That gives us 4 times 3 times 1, minus the quantity negative 4 all squared. And the whole thing is divided by 4 times 3. So on top, that's 12 minus 16, which is negative 4. And on the bottom, we have 12. So we get negative 4 over 12, which simplifies to negative 1 over 3. Okay, we did the hard part. We found our a, which was 3, our h, which is 2 over 3, and our k, which is negative 1 over 3. Now we just have to put it all together. Plugging all that into the vertex form gives us our final answer. F of x equals 3 times the quantity x minus 2 over 3, all squared, minus 1 over 3. So, we've got two fantastic methods in our toolkit. But the real question is, which one should you use and when? Let's quickly break that down. Here's a great rule of thumb. Completing the square is your best friend when that a value is 1 and b is a nice, friendly, even number. That keeps you from having to mess with fractions. But for pretty much everything else, when a isn't 1 or when b is an odd number, the vertex formula is usually the way to go. It's just a direct calculation so you can avoid all the tricky algebra. At the end of the day, it's not about one method being better than the other. They're just different tools for different situations.
The real skill is looking at a problem and knowing which tool to grab to get the job done as fast and accurately as possible. Now that you've got both in your mathematical toolkit, you're ready to take on any quadratic equation that comes your way. Thanks for watching.